Tonight, you are not here to work harder, struggle more, or force success with willpower. You are here because the greatest fortunes in history were never built by effort alone. They were built while people slept, long before money appeared in their hands. It was impressed upon their subconscious. While the conscious mind rests, the deeper mind listens, obeys, and executes without resistance. This is the secret few understand and fewer apply. If you can impress your subconscious before sleep, you can wake up in opportunities, ideas, and wealth that seem to arrive without effort. What you repeat at night becomes law by morning. What you accept while drifting into sleep becomes reality while awake. Tonight begins the reprogramming that changes not just your income, but the entire direction of your life. Subconscious mind creates results faster than conscious effort because it operates beneath resistance. The conscious mind is trained to question, measure, doubt, compare, and delay. It asks, how long will this take? What if this fails? What if I am not worthy? Every question weakens momentum. The subconscious does not ask questions. It accepts impressions as commands and immediately begins to organize behavior, perception, and external circumstances to fulfill those commands. This is why people often succeed accidentally when they stop trying so hard. The moment struggle relaxes, the deeper mind takes over and moves with speed and precision. What feels like luck is actually alignment. The subconscious works continuously without fatigue, without emotional swings, and without the need for motivation. Once an idea is accepted, it acts day and night, shaping choices, attracting people, and opening pathways that the conscious mind could never plan. When effort is used alone, progress feels heavy because the conscious mind is fighting old patterns stored in the subconscious. No matter how positive a thought sounds during the day, if the deeper mind is impressed with lack or struggle, it will quietly override conscious intention. This creates the exhausting cycle where people work harder but see limited change. When the subconscious is impressed correctly, effort becomes almost unnecessary. Action still happens, but it feels guided rather than forced. Decisions become clearer. Timing improves. Confidence rises without explanation. The inner mind begins to expect success. An expectation is a powerful magnet. It subtly alters posture, tone, reactions, and choices in ways that invite opportunity. Money responds to expectation more than desire. Desire can be desperate. Expectation is calm and assured. The subconscious always moves faster because it moves without inner conflict. This is why repeating ideas before sleep is so effective. The subconscious is most receptive when the conscious guard relaxes. During the day, affirmations often clash with stored beliefs. At night, the gatekeeper rests. Suggestions pass through without interrogation and settle directly into creative memory. Once accepted, the subconscious treats them as reality already in motion. It does not distinguish between what is happening now and what is declared as true. It only knows instruction. That instruction becomes the blueprint for behavior and circumstance. Over time, what once felt impossible becomes familiar, and what becomes familiar becomes inevitable. The mental state just before sleep is a sacred threshold. It is neither full wakefulness nor unconscious rest. It is a soft drifting awareness where thought slows and imagination becomes fluid. In this state, the mind is no longer arguing with itself. Logic loosens its grip. Emotional tone becomes more influential than words. Whatever is held gently in awareness during this moment sinks deeply. This is why worries before sleep repeat themselves in life, and why peaceful certainty before sleep multiplies results. The subconscious records the final emotional impression of the day and carries it forward as a directive. Learning to enter this state intentionally changes everything. It requires letting go of strain rather than forcing focus. When the body relaxes and breathing slows, the mind naturally opens. In this openness, statements of truth are absorbed effortlessly. Not statements of wanting or hoping, but statements of being and having. The subconscious understands identity better than desire. When a person falls asleep feeling safe, supported, and provided for, the inner mind accepts provision as the natural order. From that acceptance, it begins to guide thoughts, actions, and encounters that match the feeling. This state is not created by effort. It is created by permission. The more someone tries to force sleep affirmations, the more the conscious mind stays alert. The key is softness, a gentle repetition, a calm sense of knowing, and an absence of urgency. Urgency signals lack. Calm signals fulfillment. The subconscious responds to calm because calm suggests completion. When a person drifts into sleep with a quiet inner agreement that life is working in their favor. That agreement becomes law. This is why many breakthroughs happen after rest, not during struggle. Sleep is not passive. It is the workshop of creation. While the conscious mind sleeps, the subconscious continues receiving, organizing, and executing. It connects ideas, dissolves old resistance, and prepares inspired action for the next day. People often wake up with solutions they could not think of consciously. This is evidence of the deeper intelligence at work. When this nightly state is practiced consistently, it rewires expectation. Expectation determines perception. Perception determines choice. Choice determines outcome. By changing the final thought before sleep, the entire chain shifts. The person begins to wake with a different internal posture. There is less anxiety and more clarity, less chasing and more attraction. This is not magic. It is alignment with the natural function of the mind. Over time, the subconscious becomes trained to expect abundance, ease, and support. It no longer reacts to external fear because it has been impressed with internal certainty. When challenges appear, they no longer derail progress. The subconscious interprets them as temporary adjustments rather than threats. This stability allows momentum to build without interruption. The greatest value of this practice is not just material gain but inner authority. When someone realizes that the final moments before sleep shape the event of the following day, they reclaim control from circumstances. Life stops feeling random. Results stop feeling accidental. The individual becomes an intentional creator rather than a hopeful observer. Every night becomes an opportunity to impress truth, security, and prosperity into the deepest level of mind, where creation begins and outcomes are born. Affirming while awake and affirming while falling asleep are two vastly different experiences for the mind, and understanding this difference is crucial to mastering the art of manifestation. During the day, the conscious mind is active, critical, and judgmental. When we speak affirmations in this state, they often collide with deeply ingrained beliefs, memories, and habits stored in the subconscious. The conscious mind evaluates, questions, and sometimes even rejects these affirmations, creating a tug-of-war between what we want and what we believe is possible. This struggle can lead to frustration, doubt, and slow progress. Words spoken during the day have to fight their way through layers of resistance, requiring repetition, persistence, and emotional energy to make any lasting impression. The conscious mind is analytical, weighing outcomes, consequences, and possibilities, and it will often delay or distort the intention before it reaches the deeper mind that can act without hesitation. Affirming while falling asleep bypasses this inner conflict entirely. In that delicate state between wakefulness and sleep, the mind relaxes, logic softens, and resistance dissolves. The conscious guard is resting, no longer evaluating or arguing, and the subconscious mind becomes highly receptive. Words spoken or thoughts held at this time pass directly into the inner mind, where they are accepted as reality without question. The subconscious does not separate what is imagined from what is real. It only receives instruction and begins organizing circumstances, habits, and decisions to align with them. This is why the moments before sleep are the most potent for planting seeds of wealth, health, confidence, and success. The same affirmation that might feel forced or doubtful during the day becomes natural, believable, and effective when delivered gently at night. Over time, this process rewires the inner belief system, gradually replacing doubt with certainty and resistance with expectation. The principle of repetition during sleep is equally powerful. Nightly repetition ingrains ideas into the subconscious in a way that conscious effort cannot match. The mind records what it encounters repeatedly, and repeated affirmations before sleep create automatic belief. This automatic belief then drives thought patterns, decisions, and actions throughout the day without requiring deliberate effort. It is not just about repeating words, but about impressing the mind consistently until it accepts them as absolute truth. Expectation grows quietly within the subconscious, and expectation is far more influential than desire, because it generates a sense of inevitability. While desire can be anxious, impatient, or scared, expectation is calm, unwavering, and magnetic. When the subconscious is conditioned through consistent nightly repetition, it begins to arrange circumstances, opportunity, and relationships in alignment with the anticipated result, bringing dreams into reality with remarkable speed and ease. The emotional component of affirmations during sleep is crucial. The subconscious mind responds far more to feeling than to mere words. Words spoken without feeling may pass through without leaving a lasting impression, but words paired with emotion penetrate deeply. When affirmations are accompanied by a quiet sense of certainty, peace, and ownership, the subconscious receives them as undeniable truth. Feeling successful, abundant, or secure while drifting into sleep sets the emotional tone for creation. It signals to the inner mind that the desired state is already real and that all circumstances must adjust to support it. This feeling of certainty is far more persuasive to the subconscious than effortful visualization or forced imagination, because emotion is the language of the inner mind. A calm, confident emotional state tells the subconscious to act decisively, arranging events and opportunities that align naturally with the declared truth. The law of identity is central to this process. The subconscious does not respond to mere wanting or wishing, it responds to identity. It asks, "Who are you?" Not "What do you want?" When a person falls asleep holding the identity of someone already wealthy, successful, confident, or healthy, the subconscious begins to behave as though this identity is established fact. Actions taken the next day are guided by this inner sense of self, leading to choices and behaviors that reinforce the desired outcome. There is no struggle, no effort to become. The mind simply operates from the new identity, aligning external circumstances effortlessly with the inner reality. The subconscious does not differentiate between imagined and real when it perceives identity as truth. Once the inner mind believes it is already accomplished, reality begins to reflect that belief automatically. Timing plays a critical role in effectiveness. The state just before sleep is uniquely receptive because the brain transitions from beta to alpha and theta waves, a rhythm that enhances creativity, absorption, and receptivity. This transitional state is a gateway in which suggestions are not just heard but felt deeply and encoded permanently. The subconscious records the final impression of the day, which is why ending the day with deliberate affirmations, gratitude, and clear intentions creates momentum for the next day. If the final thoughts before sleep are worries, doubt, or fear, the subconscious will act on those instead, producing outcomes that mirror those emotions. By contrast, when the last thoughts are of abundance, possibility, and confidence, the mind begins constructing reality to match that vision. Consistency in nightly affirmations builds trust between the conscious and subconscious minds. At first, the conscious mind may resist or question the process, but repeated practice demonstrates reliability to the inner mind. Over time, the subconscious no longer distinguishes between daydreams, wishes, or deliberate affirmations. It treats them all as instructions to be implemented. This trust accelerates manifestation because the subconscious begins anticipating the desired result as natural, not exceptional. What was once a hope becomes a certainty. Patterns of success, decision-making, and opportunity align seamlessly without conscious effort. Another critical factor is detachment. While affirmations during sleep impress the subconscious, attachment or overthinking can interfere. The conscious mind must release control and allow the inner mind to orchestrate outcomes. Struggle, doubt, or obsession signals resistance and blocks the natural flow of creation. Instead, one should deliver affirmations gently, paired with calm emotion, and then allow sleep to carry the impression into the subconscious. This detachment does not mean ignoring goals, it means trusting the inner mind to act on them, removing anxiety and letting creation unfold organically. The subconscious thrives on clarity and calm, not desperation or force. Ultimately, affirming while falling asleep is the cornerstone of effortless creation. It utilizes the natural rhythm of mind and sleep, bypassing conscious resistance, engaging emotion, and establishing identity already accomplished. It converts repeated thought into automatic belief, expectation, and action. It trains the inner mind to work continuously, even while the body rests, turning every night into a powerful opportunity for transformation. Those who master this principle experience life differently. They awaken to solutions that seemed impossible the night before. Opportunities appear without planning, and results that once required struggle flow naturally. Sleep becomes not just a restorative process for the body, but a creative laboratory for the mind, a place where intention becomes reality and dreams begin to materialize. Without effort, feeling is far more powerful than visualization during sleep because the subconscious mind responds primarily to emotion rather than intellect or imagery. While images can be compelling, they are interpreted through the lens of the conscious mind and often filtered by doubt or critical thinking. Feeling, on the other hand, communicates directly to the inner mind. When you drift into sleep carrying a strong sense of certainty, security, abundance, or joy, the subconscious receives these emotions as reality. It does not question whether the feelings are justified or logical. It simply begins to align circumstances and internal behavior to match them. This is why the last emotional state before sleep carries so much weight in shaping outcomes. The subconscious records not the fleeting thoughts of the day, but the lingering emotional tone held at the threshold of rest. By mastering the art of feeling while falling asleep, one bypasses the resistance of conscious reasoning and impresses the inner mind with undeniable truth. Emotions set the stage for creation because they are the language of the subconscious. Thoughts without feeling are often ignored or partially absorbed, while feelings leave a lasting impression. A calm and certain feeling of wealth, success, or health communicate a state of being that the subconscious interprets as already real. This is different from imagining scenarios or visualizing outcomes, which can still be accompanied by doubt or skepticism. Feeling conveys ownership, certainty, and inevitability. When a person drifts into sleep feeling the truth of what they desire, the inner mind begins to arrange circumstances, ideas, and decisions to make that reality manifest naturally. This process is subtle but profound. Over time, repeated emotional reinforcement builds expectation, and expectation is a magnetic force that attracts aligned opportunities without conscious effort. The law of acceptance explains why wealth or success must feel inevitable before it appears. The subconscious only works with what is accepted as true. Resistance, fear, or skepticism blocks the natural flow of creation. The mind will not act to bring into existence what it perceives as impossible or unworthy. Therefore, it is not enough to simply wish for more. One must cultivate the internal feel that abundance, success, and health are natural, rightful, and already present. This feeling of inevitability dissolves barriers and allows the subconscious to orchestrate events, ideas, and connections in a seamless, unforced manner. Acceptance signals to the inner mind that no effortful struggle is necessary and that creation can proceed efficiently and naturally. Releasing fear and urgency before sleep accelerates results because the emotions are the greatest blockers to subconscious instruction. Fear communicates lack, while urgency communicates need and incompleteness. Both signal resistance to the inner mind, which interprets them as a reason to delay or complicate manifestation. By contrast, calm assurance communicates abundance, sufficiency, and certainty. Entering sleep in a state of peace, knowing that everything is in divine order, allows the subconscious to work freely and creatively. The mind can organize solutions, attract opportunities, and guide actions without obstruction. This requires practice in letting go of anxiety, releasing obsessive thought patterns, and cultivating a steady emotional tone. The more consistent this practice becomes, the more the subconscious trusts the instructions it receives and begins to act on them without hesitation. The role of divine order and unseen channels in nighttime creation cannot be overstated. While conscious effort often relies on visible action, the subconscious mind works through invisible forces, arranging people, circumstances, and timing in perfect alignment. When you fall asleep with the right emotional state, you are placing trust in an intelligent system that operates beyond conscious understanding. Money, ideas, solutions, and opportunities flow through these unseen channels to manifest what has been impressed upon the inner mind. Attempting to micromanage these channels during the day is unnecessary and often counterproductive. Instead, focusing on feeling abundance and certainty before sleep allows the subconscious to act in ways that the conscious mind cannot foresee, using perfect timing and precise orchestration. Consistency matters more than intensity because the subconscious responds to rhythm, not force. One calm, repeated night of positive feeling is more effective than intense but sporadic effort. The inner mind builds momentum through regularity. Each night, when feelings of abundance, success, and certainty are impressed, the subconscious adds layers of reinforcement, slowly replacing old beliefs, doubts, and fears with expectation and confidence. This cumulative effect is powerful because it does not rely on conscious effort or struggle. Over weeks and months, the repeated emotional reinforcement rewires internal patterns, making success, health, and wealth feel natural and inevitable. This approach also prevents burnout, as it leverages the natural function of the mind rather than exhausting conscious willpower. The subconscious mind works without fatigue, judgment, or distraction. Unlike the conscious mind, which tires, worries, or second guesses, the inner mind faithfully implements what is impressed. By using feelings strategically, you harness this tireless creative power. Every night becomes an opportunity to expand potential, attract favorable circumstance, and cultivate internal states that produce effortless action during the day. The consistent use of feeling before sleep transforms internal identity, aligning thought, emotion, and expectation toward the desired reality. Over time, this practice leads to a remarkable shift in perception. Challenges and obstacles are no longer seen as threats, but as temporary adjustments. The subconscious interprets them as part of a larger process moving toward the desired outcome. The sense of inevitability cultivated before sleep informs conscious action during the day, creating aligned decisions, inspired choices, and natural momentum. This is why people who practice feeling before sleep report sudden breakthroughs, unexpected opportunities, and a sense of life flowing with ease. The subconscious have been working behind the scenes, arranging everything in perfect harmony with the internal state impressed during the final moments of wakefulness. Ultimately, mastering feeling over visualization while falling asleep is a practice of emotional intelligence applied to creation. It is the art of impressing the subconscious with undeniable truth, allowing the inner mind to operate efficiently and naturally. Thoughts, desires, and visualizations are tools, but emotion is the command that directs all resources. When combined with consistency, acceptance, calm assurance, and trust in unseen channels, feeling becomes a transformative force. It aligns identity, expectation, and reality, turning sleep into a creative laboratory where intentions become effortless manifestations and where life unfolds according to the truth impressed upon the inner mind each night. The real power lies in integrating this practice into daily life. Each night, before sleep, a person can focus on cultivating the emotional reality of their desires, feeling success, abundance, love, health, or confidence as if it is already present impresses the subconscious directly. Over time, this emotional reinforcement shifts perception, decision-making, and experience in ways that mere visualizations cannot. The subconscious mind begins to operate automatically in alignment with these feelings, orchestrating events and circumstances that support the desired outcome. Sleep becomes the ultimate tool for transformation, not because it is passive, but because it is the moment when the inner mind is most receptive, most intelligent, and most capable of organizing the unseen threads of reality to match the emotional truth held within. Feeling before sleep also fosters resilience. As the subconscious becomes programmed with certainty and abundance, fear, doubt, and scarcity lose their power. Challenges no longer cause panic or derail progress because the inner mind has been conditioned to act from confidence rather than reaction. Each night's practice builds a reservoir of expectation, which fuels calm action and attracts solutions. The subconscious mind, trained to accept abundance and certainty as natural, it continues to work tirelessly, while the body rests, producing results that the conscious mind could never engineer through effort alone. This creates a life in which prosperity, opportunity, and fulfillment flow naturally, guided by the emotional truth impressed upon the inner mind each night. Consistency in impressing the subconscious matters more than intensity because the mind responds to rhythm rather than force. One calm, repeated night of positive impressions outweighs sporadic bursts of effort and emotional strain. Subconscious does not measure quantity of effort but registers patterns of thought and emotion. When the same feelings of abundance, health, success, or confidence are impressed night after night, the inner mind begins to accept them as natural and inevitable. This repeated reinforcement gradually replaces old beliefs, doubts, and resistance with expectation and trust. Even small, gentle efforts applied consistently have more transformative power than dramatic declarations made inconsistently. The subconscious thrives on repetition because it learns and reorganizes through habitual impressions rather than sporadic spikes of conscious willpower. Each night, the subconscious absorbs the final emotional tone of the day. If one enters sleep with tension, worry, or urgency, the inner mind records the feelings as instructions, leading to outcomes that mirror fear or lack. By contrast, a calm, certain, and peaceful state impresses trust, abundance, and certainty. Over time, This creates a consistent pattern that shapes perception, decision-making, and daily experience. Small, deliberate repetitions cultivate a sense of reliability between the conscious and subconscious minds. The subconscious begins to anticipate and support desired outcomes, knowing that the internal message is consistent, unwavering, and trustworthy. This anticipation becomes a magnet for opportunity, as expectation draws events and circumstances aligned with the impressed belief. The subconscious mind functions continuously, without fatigue, judgment, or distraction. Unlike the conscious mind, which tires, doubts, or vacillates, the inner mind implements impressions faithfully and without delay. This is why consistent nightly impressions have compounding effects. Even while the body rests, the subconscious is organizing, adjusting, and preparing the internal and external conditions needed for manifestation. Each repetition strengthens neural pathways associated with belief and expectation. As the pathways deepen, the subconscious begins guiding conscious choices, reactions, and behavior, automatically moving the individual closer to the intended outcome without conscious effort. Consistency ensures that this guidance remains steady, aligned, and reliable. Releasing fear and urgency before sleep is crucial because these emotions signal resistance. Fear communicates scarcity, danger, or limitation, while urgency signals lack and incompleteness. Both block the smooth functioning of the subconscious. By cultivating calm, assurance, and trust before sleep, the mind operates freely, using all its creative capacity without obstruction. The inner mind can then arrange circumstances, attract opportunities, and inspire action naturally. Consistency in this emotional state strengthens the effectiveness of nightly impression, ensuring that the subconscious receives clear, unwavering instruction. The repeated experience of calm, certainty trains the inner mind to accept abundance as normal and to orchestrate reality accordingly. The role of unseen channels in nighttime creation highlights why consistency is so important. While the conscious mind often seeks immediate results, the subconscious works through intelligence that operates beyond direct perception. It arranges events, people, and opportunities with perfect timing and alignment. Sporadic attempts may create temporary effects, but consistent impressions create lasting influence because they establish a stable framework for the subconscious to operate. Regularity signals to the inner mind that these beliefs and emotions are not fleeting whims but enduring truths. The subconscious then uses this stability to orchestrate results with precision, leveraging unseen forces that the conscious mind could never manipulate directly. Consistency also strengthens the sense of identity impressed upon the subconscious. Identity is the core principle that drives action and expectation. When nightly impressions are consistent, the subconscious internalizes the identity as true and permanent. It does not see the desire as a wish or hope, but as a fact of existence. This internalized identity then guides conscious behavior throughout the day. Decisions, attitudes, and actions begin to reflect the inner truth already established. What might have once required effort, struggle, or planning now unfold naturally because the subconscious has already set the stage. Repeated impressions ensure that this identity is secure, resilient, and unshakable. Over time, consistent practice transforms perception. Challenges no longer appear as insurmountable obstacles because the subconscious interprets them within the framework of certainty and abundance. Difficulty is seen as temporary adjustment rather than a barrier. The subconscious continues its work uninterrupted, arranging solutions, opportunities, and ideas in alignment with the impressed belief. Daily experience begins to match the internal state cultivated nightly. The flow of life becomes smoother, guided by expectation rather than reaction. This is the power of rhythm over intensity. It creates steady momentum, internal trust, and natural alignment with desired outcomes. Finally, consistency ensures that the subconscious operates in harmony with conscious intention. The conscious mind may waver, question, or tire, but the repeated nightly impressions reinforce a continuous directive. The subconscious receives a clear, unwavering message and acts accordingly, even when the conscious mind is inactive. This creates a bridge between inner belief and external reality, allowing intentions to manifest without strain. Over time, consistent nightly practice cultivates automatic alignment, effortless action, and the reliable attraction of wealth, health, success, and fulfillment. The subtle power of rhythm over force allows the inner mind to work with precision, turning repeated impressions into natural, inevitable results that shape life in profound and lasting ways. Consistency not only influences outcomes, but also builds trust within the mind. The more faithfully impressions are repeated each night, the more the subconscious recognizes them as dependable instruction. This internal trust strengthens expectation and reduces internal conflict, enabling the inner mind to operate creatively and decisively. As the subconscious grows accustomed to regular, calm impressions of abundance, it coordinates opportunities, relationships, and ideas that support the desired reality. The repeated reinforcement establishes a pattern that becomes self-sustaining, ensuring that progress continues even when conscious effort is minimal. Over time, consistent practice transforms the subconscious into a reliable partner, orchestrating life in alignment with the identity, emotions, and intention impressed each night. Waking up aligned with wealth instead of chasing it is a principle that transforms the entire approach to success and fulfillment. Most people begin their day in reaction, driven by urgency, obligation, or the fear of scarcity. They chase opportunities, push themselves, and attempt to manufacture results through sheer effort. This approach can create temporary gains but often leads to stress, exhaustion, and inconsistent outcomes. Alignment with wealth begins the night before by impressing the subconscious mind with a sense of abundance, certainty, and calm assurance. When the subconscious has been properly impressed, the day unfolds naturally in support of these internal conditions. Actions become guided rather than forced, choices become intuitive, and opportunities appear almost effortlessly. Instead of pursuing success, the individual awakens already in harmony with it, and the subconscious orchestrates the means to fulfill that reality. This principle is rooted in the understanding that the subconscious mind does not distinguish between what is imagined or real. It responds to the emotional and mental impressions held consistently and faithfully. When someone drifts into sleep with a clear sense of already being wealthy, successful, or fulfilled, the subconscious accepts this as truth and begins working to manifest it. The mind arranges circumstances, guides behavior, and attracts people who align with that reality. This creates a powerful shift. Instead of reacting to external conditions, one's life begins to mirror the internal state. Wealth, opportunities, and favorable outcomes are drawn naturally because the subconscious operates from the perspective of completion, not lack. This alignment transforms daily experience, making success feel effortless, natural, and inevitable. One of the key aspects of waking up aligned is expectation. Expectation is a magnetic force that influences perception, decision-making, and opportunity. When the subconscious has been impressed with certainty and assurance before sleep, expectation is firmly established. This expectation subtly alters how the conscious mind perceives challenges and possibilities. Situations that might have seemed daunting or impossible are interpreted as manageable and surmountable. Solutions and ideas emerge with clarity because the inner mind has already accepted the outcome as a matter of fact. The conscious mind, guided by this expectation, acts with confidence and precision. Rather than chasing, striving, or worrying, the individual steps into each day with a sense of natural authority and readiness to receive what has already been aligned internally. Alignment also eliminates the tension created by resistance and fear. Fear, scarcity, and doubt act as blockers, preventing the subconscious from executing the creative process effectively. By cultivating calm, certainty, and acceptance before sleep, these barriers are removed. The subconscious can then operate freely, arranging events, people, and circumstances in ways that appear seamless and fortuitous. Waking up aligned means that one begins the day already positioned in a flow where resources, opportunities, and solutions are naturally drawn. This removes the need to chase or force outcomes, allowing life to unfold in accordance with the impressed intentions. Success is no longer a struggle. It becomes a reflection of internal alignment. Another aspect of alignment is intuitive guidance. When the subconscious is properly impressed with the desired reality, it begins to guide conscious action throughout the day. Intuition, inspiration, and spontaneous ideas emerge naturally because the inner mind has already mapped the most effective pathways. Instead of relying solely on logic, planning, or external instruction, the individual begins to follow subtle cues, recognizing opportunities and taking action at precisely the right moment. This creates a sense of ease and efficiency, where the day moves in harmony with the internal state. Alignment allows the subconscious to direct energy and attention toward actions that produce the greatest results with the least resistance. The concept of identity is central to this process. The subconscious responds not to mere desire, but to the identity that is impressed upon it. By holding the feeling of already being wealthy, confident, and successful, while drifting into sleep, the inner mind accepts this identity as truth. The conscious mind then acts in ways that reflect this identity, making choices, decisions, and behaviors that reinforce the impressed state. Over time, the repeated practice of alignment transforms internal patterns, ensuring that the individual consistently operates from a position of abundance and authority. This integration of internal identity and external action creates a life where success is natural, consistent, and effortless. Expectation, alignment, and identity work together to create a self-sustaining cycle. Each night's impressions reinforce the subconscious, strengthening belief, confidence, and certainty. Each day, the subconscious guides conscious action, attracts opportunity, and shapes circumstances to reflect the impressed reality. Challenges are approached with resilience and creativity because the inner mind interprets them as temporary adjustments rather than threats. Momentum builds naturally, and progress accelerates without conscious strain. Waking up aligned transforms the individual from a reactive participant in life to a conscious creator, able to receive, recognize, and act on the resources already prepared by the subconscious. This principle also underscores the importance of emotional tone. The quality of feeling held before sleep directly impacts alignment. Calm assurance, peaceful certainty, and a deep sense of sufficiency signal to the subconscious that wealth, success, and fulfillment are natural states. These feelings override doubts, fears, and scarcity-based thought patterns, creating fertile ground for manifestation. The subconscious operates efficiently when the emotional signal is clear and consistent. By consistently cultivating the right emotional tone before sleep, the individual ensures that waking experience reflects this internal reality. Life begins to feel supported, directed, and aligned with intentions, reducing struggle and amplifying natural flow. Alignment affects decision-making in subtle yet profound ways. When the subconscious has been impressed with certainty and expectation, the conscious mind is guided to make choices that reflect the internal state. Opportunities that previously went unnoticed become obvious. Actions that previously felt risky or forced now feel natural and inspired. The alignment between subconscious expectation and conscious decision creates a seamless integration of thought, emotion, and action. Over time, this produces a life in which success, wealth, and fulfillment are not pursued externally, but naturally attracted and embodied internally. The individual experiences the effortless unfolding of life, where internal preparation and subconscious guidance create external results without strain. Finally, waking up aligned with wealth fosters a deep sense of trust in the creative process. By consistently impressing the subconscious before sleep and observing the unfolding of aligned circumstances, the individual cultivates faith in the unseen mechanisms of manifestation. This trust replaces anxiety, doubt, and second-guessing with confidence, patience, and clarity. It becomes clear that outcomes are not dependent on frantic effort or constant monitoring, but on consistent internal alignment. Life flows according to the impressed intentions, guided by the subconscious mind operating in harmony with the emotional, mental, and identity-based signals delivered each night. The more this practice is applied, the more natural and effortless the alignment becomes, creating a powerful, self-sustaining cycle of manifestation that permeates every aspect of daily experience. This alignment ensures that waking moments are already in harmony with intended outcomes. The subconscious has prearranged circumstances, guided intuition, and influenced perception, making the conscious mind's actions more effective, confident, and effortless. By trusting in the unseen orchestration and consistently impressing certainty, abundance, and identity before sleep, the individual awakens each day already in resonance with the desired reality. Success is no longer a goal to be chased, but a natural condition of being, flowing seamlessly from internal alignment to external manifestation.